Hello. All right, my name is Victoria G, and in today's video, I will be answering your questions that you sent me on Instagram regarding the first year anniversary of my second short film called Jessicarved. So here we go. You guys sent in really good questions, and I'm going to answer them now. So the first one I have here is what inspired the story? So truthfully, I knew I wanted to do something that was kind of Halloween themed because Halloween has always been my favorite holiday and I love horror movies and stuff. So I was trying to go for something along those lines, and I just really couldn't find something that hasn't already been done before or that would require me to have other actors with me. But I think in general, like what inspired it was just my love of Halloween. And then I have here for the next question, what films did you look to for inspiration? So I think when looking at other movies and stuff, I'm always getting ideas and getting inspiration from different places. But a really big one was I was on Hulu watching some of their Halloween short films, and one of which was called Carved. And it was about this pumpkin that gets carved into and like some horror stuff happens. So that really inspired me a lot, seeing something like that played out, but I just did like my own take on it. What was the biggest challenge when making the movie? I think like the same thing with noise, the biggest challenge is I'm doing it all by myself. So when doing all the work, right, it's kind of daunting because you're trying to get everything done right and in a decent amount of time. But, also you have to hold yourself accountable too. So I think that was a really big challenge. And the air conditioner just turned on. That's what that sound is. What was the best thing to come out of this movie? I think the best thing was definitely getting to attend a film festival in person for the first time. Because like with Noise, I have had my film be part of film festival selection and get awards, but I could never attend any of them in person because they were out of the country or out of the state, or just at a time when I couldn't go because of work and school. But this one luckily was right here in Los Angeles, and I was able to attend in person and go on a red carpet and the whole dressing up thing. I mean, it was really nice to see my film on the big screen and get people's reactions from the crowd as well. Did you use fake blood? No, I never use fake blood because I've always heard that it stains clothes and it can stain skin. I have kind of sensitive skin, so I try to not use fake blood if I can. And just like my last film with Noise, I actually used Hershey's chocolate syrup, but with this I use strawberry syrup, so same idea. How was it shot? So it was shot actually on the same camera phone that I'm using for this video right now. So an iPhone. It was the first time that I used an iPhone to shoot a movie. Usually I use a camcorder, but I was trying to be more hip about it, so I think it came out really nice. At the end of the film with the scream, is that you screaming? No. So I actually tried using my own scream, but I don't have a very good sounding scream. Like my scream is kind of deep voiced. I wanted something that sounded more like a shrieking feminine scream, like what you would hear in a horror movie. So I got like this copyright free sound, and I gave them credit at the end of the movie. So that's what I used instead of my own actual scream. How much of the film was improvised? Pretty much all of the dialogue was improvised. I was just kind of going with the motions of it, but I already kind of had an idea what I wanted to say when writing the concept and stuff. It was just the actual lines. I did improvise pretty much 90% of the movie. What happened to the pumpkin after all you did to it while shooting? So I wanted to try to keep it for as long as I could until it started rotting, which because of all I did to it for the movie, it started rotting pretty much within 24 hours. So I just took a photo of it, and unfortunately I had to throw it away. What was the editing process like? The editing process for this took a little bit longer than Noise did, but that's because I guess I was kind of overthinking some of what I wanted to do. Like, for instance, when I carved the eyes, I was trying to create holes in my actual eyes instead of just having the blood rush down and saying that I can't see. So I think I was overthinking some of it at first with the editing process, and then once I kind of simplified it, made it more of like a minimalist kind of thing, not like special effects or anything like that, then that's when the process got a little more easy for me. Any funny behind the scenes secrets? Oh, well, there was one part where when I put the fake blood, if you will, you know, the syrup on my head, it ended up dripping down from my forehead onto my eyes, which I figured would happen. But it actually started burning my eyes, and I didn't want to stop shooting because I was already kind of into it and stuff. And at some point I actually did have to get up and go to the sink and rinse out my eyes because I honestly was going blind and I couldn't see, and it was burning, and it really hurt on both eyes. So at that point I just did a quick cut and reshot some stuff. So that's pretty funny now that I look at it, but at the time I was really freaking out because I couldn't see anything. How did you make the cinematography look orange and kind of pixelated? So the orange was a filter that I used in Adobe, and it was like an orange tint. And the pixelation I did by shooting the video in 4K on my iPhone, but on my computer, the 4K did not register, I guess you could say. It wasn't fully uploading into the computer, which I knew that it would do that because I never shot with 4K before. And in comparison to the age of my computer, the age of my phone, one of them was a little bit older than the other. So I thought, hey, maybe it'll make it look kind of cool with it not agreeing with each other. And I was right. It kind of gave like this weird pixelated effect, which works with, like, you know, some of the YouTube vloggers and stuff. Not all of them have this high definition camera. You know, when I used to have a YouTube channel with my cousin, we used a camcorder. So when you're using the whole camcorder thing, sometimes it's not going to look as clear or as clean and sharp as someone who has a new expensive $5,000 camera. So I wanted to kind of play on that with the rough quality of it. And the last question I have here is, was this your first time carving a pumpkin? To that extent of actually cutting off the crown, carving the face, everything, technically yes, that was my first time fully doing that. But I have carved into pumpkins before, like just a big old mouth, like little eyes or something. But, you know, to go full on like that, that was my first time. But usually what I would do when I was younger even, I would just paint pumpkins a lot. And, you know, because it was just kind of a more clean way than taking all the guts out of the pumpkin and stuff. So it technically was my first time fully carving the pumpkin. So I hope that I answered all your questions and that you guys enjoyed it, and thank you for sending in such great questions. And I hope you all have a happy Halloween, and thank you for 1 year of Jessicarved. Bye.